John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hi, my name is John Ulzheimer, and I am a consumer credit expert, formerly of FICO and Equifax. And today, I'm going to answer a fairly common question that pivots to a fairly common myth, and we're going to myth bust that today. And so I'll read the question to you, but then we're going to pivot off of that pretty quickly. Number one is, John, are the little on-time payment remarks on my credit report important or not? For example, some of my accounts show several months of on-time payments and some accounts show no data. Am I not getting credit for making all of my payments on time? All right, that's the question. And here's the deal. There are two common formats of credit reports. One is a credit report that is used by lenders, and I'm going to refer to them as users, okay? So users are going to be banks, credit unions, credit card issuers, insurance companies, debt collectors, any organization that pulls a credit report directly from a credit reporting agency for the use in some sort of business endeavor like lending or setting a limit on a credit card or collecting a debt. So those are going to be what are referred to formally as credit reports. And then there are all of those reports that you, the consumer, can download off of the various websites. And so annualcreditreport.com, any of the various freemium websites that you advertised on television, the credit bureau's websites, Equifax.com, Experian.com, TransUnion.com, all of the credit reports that you, the consumer, can get from any of those websites are what are referred to as disclosure credit reports. They are formatted, and the only reason they exist is to provide a disclosure or to disclose the credit report information to you, the consumer, because you have the right to see that under federal law, and many states also have state laws that provide you with the rights to see copies of your own credit reports. Those are called disclosures. Credit reports are never given to consumers, and disclosures are never given to users. And so Wells Fargo doesn't pull your credit report off of annualcreditreport.com or off of the TransUnion website. And you, the consumer, you don't go directly to Equifax and pull a credit report that's the same format and variety that's used by a bank for lending. And so there's kind of this dividing line between these two reports, even though most people, when they say credit report, they have one thing in mind, and that is just kind of this product given directly to a lender or is given to you if you ask for a copy of it. But I can assure you they're not 100% redundant. They're heavily redundant with information, but there is information on a credit report that you don't see, and there is information on a disclosure that is not seen by lenders, okay? So it's not 100% redundant. The information that you see in your disclosure is going to be formatted in such a way that it's easier for you to understand the information. It's going to be color-coded. There are going to be legends included that are going to explain what the different fields and the different codes and the different colors mean. And then there's going to be plain English, a kind of text or sentences that explain what the different information is and what the information represents. And then there's going to be a lot of information about the rights based on where you live, because different states have different rights with respect to credit reporting. So that's the type of information that you're going to see on the disclosure style credit reports. There are also going to be dates, fields that are absolutely not on a normal credit report, because they're not given to lenders. They're only given to you so you can understand what you're looking at. That's where the confusion seems to be. There are dates and different information on the disclosure credit reports, like these late payments or indications of on-time payments that you're referring to in your question, that are not on a traditional garden variety credit report. So even though you may have information that you believe is missing, it may not necessarily be missing on your actual real credit report. And that's important, and here's why. Your credit scores are not generated from the disclosure style reports that you're able to pull off of these websites. Your credit scores are calculated based on the actual real credit reports that the credit reporting agencies provide to users, banks, credit unions, credit card issuers, and the like. If you were to actually compare the two reports side by side, the information that is scored is only going to be the information off of the report, not the information off of the disclosure. And so what happens is it causes a little bit of confusion, because you may see a disclosure style credit report and you may think, wait a minute, it's missing information. It only has 2 years of on-time payments versus 7 years of on-time payments. This account says I'm delinquent, but there's no information that goes more than 2 years in the past. So what gives? There must be something either wrong with my credit report, or my credit score may not be calculated appropriately. That may seem that way, but it's not actually that way. The information on a credit report absolutely does go back at least 7 years if the account is 7 years old. It has what's called an 84-month payment history grid, which is actually this two-dimensional table, 7 years by 12 months, which is where 84 comes from. And it absolutely contains a record of whether or not you paid on time, there's data missing that particular month, or if you were delinquent, and if you were delinquent, how delinquent were you for that particular month. It's also going to have any other notations, whether or not the account is a credit card or a loan or whatnot, and whether or not the account went into some sort of a terminal delinquency like a charge-off or a repossession or a foreclosure. The only way that you will be able to ever see a report that is used by a lender is if you have, frankly, a buddy who works for a lender who's willing to give you a copy of it when they pulled it in response to your application for credit. Sometimes this happens when people work at car dealerships or mortgage lenders and you apply for some form of credit. They may actually show you the report that they pulled, which is going to look extremely different than the reports that you pull off these websites. But otherwise, you're not going to ever be able to see your credit report that's the same report format that's used by lenders. And frankly, to the extent you just be aware that those credit reports are heavily coded, meaning that the information is going to be in alphanumeric, comma-delimited formats, and it's not something that's easily distinguishable to someone who does not know how to read kind of the credit report language, if you will. That's why those disclosure-style reports are always the best option for consumers. So thanks a lot for your question. That was a good one. I enjoy talking about this kind of stuff. Please leave some comments in the section below, and I'm happy to address those if I can. And have a great rest of your day, and thanks a lot for watching.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.